Alrighty, let's talk about one of my favorite things there is in the world of investing, and that would be the Roth IRA. So I've definitely made some content on this in the past, but I just wanted to give you guys like an update on where I'm at with my Roth IRA, what my strategy is, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's get right into it. The Roth IRA, if you don't know, it's a retirement account that you can pretty much open up on your own. You don't need an employer to like sponsor it or anything like that. There are certain rules and regulations involved with it. You can only put a certain amount in per year. I think 2025 is 7 grand if you're under the age of like 50 or somewhere in that neighborhood. Um, and if you make over a certain amount of money, don't quote me on this. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 140 to 150,000. If you make more than that, then you can't invest in the Roth IRA. But most people, and I feel like especially the people who are watching this video, if you relate to my content, you're not making that much money. So chances are you probably qualify for the Roth IRA. But basically, all it is an investment account that you can put money into, buy stocks, bonds, ETFs. And basically, there's tax advantages to it. So you put money in after you've paid taxes on it. Then you invest that money. And as long as you go ahead and wait until you're 59 and a half or older, and you've had the money in there for over, I believe, 5 years, then you can go ahead and pull that money out tax free. So all those capital gains and the dividends and all the growth, interest, anything like that, any gains you've made is all tax free. So if you do this right, you take advantage of it from an early age, you can really come out on the other end a winner. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of tax free capital gains and dividends. So I'm a huge fan of the Roth IRA. Opened one up when I was 16, about a decade later into it. I'm still contributing to it. I started really maxing it out and getting aggressive with it back in 2020 when the market dropped. And I've pretty much been maxing it out every year since. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on like where I'm at with my Roth IRA. Earlier on this year, I moved out of my parents' place, moved to a totally different state, pretty far away. So that was definitely like a big event in my life, if you will. And the reason I bring it up is because when I left my parents' house, I quit my job, moved. I didn't have a job lined up where I moved to. So for a little while, I wasn't really making too much money. And normally I would just contribute the, 580, whatever it is, dollars per month. And then I would max it out and then I'd be good to go by the end of the year. But with my move, I didn't have, as I mentioned, the income that I was used to. So I had to stop contributing for a little while. But I ended up landing a job in summer, this past summer. And then I started to get back on the investment, grind, and all my bills were caught up and everything like that. I never really got behind. I just had to use a little bit of money that I had saved up, which was part of the plan. But I say all that to say that, over the past few months, I've been contributing a little bit more to the Roth IRA to get caught up, so that way I can max it out by the end of the year. And now finally, we're here in November, and I have 900 more dollars that I need to invest in the Roth IRA to max it out for the year. And I'm definitely going to do it. I've been investing even more per month in order to catch up for lacking in those earlier months when I had moved and wasn't making money. But like I said, I'm going to max it out this year. And I will say, when it comes to investing, my number one goal every year is to max out my Roth IRA. And while it's boring and I'm not going to touch this money for decades, I know how important this is going to be for me when I get to the age of retirement. And I know that if I don't max this out every year, I'm going to regret it. Because either way, one way or another, I'm going to go ahead and get old, right? And, if I don't make it to that age, knock on wood, then it won't even matter anyway. But let's say, hopefully I live a long, healthy life and I make it to that age. I might as well have a few $1,000,000 in a retirement account that's tax-free that I can live off of, right? Even if I'm just living off the dividends that's earning me, I can go ahead and pull those out tax-free, and I don't have to worry about paying any taxes on that. That's an incredible, incredible resource to have when it comes time to retire. And who knows, I may not be able to retire or let me rephrase that. Who knows what age I would be able to retire at if I wasn't doing this, right? That could be the difference of me retiring at 60 or 70. So I'm taking full advantage of this Roth IRA. I don't really try to complicate things too much. I keep most of my investments in, the S&P 500, just following the broad market. I do have some exposure to some other investments. I do have a little bit of Tesla in there as well, which some people might say is a little risky for a Roth IRA, but for me personally, I'm a huge believer in Tesla. I love what it is they're doing, and I think there's so much room for growth, and I see a lot of growth in the future, especially like 20 or 30 years down the line. Like, who knows what's going to be going on with Tesla by then. But even if, Tesla were to go to zero, I have plenty of money, and, I guess plenty of my portfolio is allocated towards the S&P 500, which is a safe, relatively speaking, safe investment. But all that said, I wanted to make this video to let you guys know what my thoughts were on the Roth IRA, and then kind of tell you where I was at. Overall strategy, even beyond like this year, I just max it out every year. Most of the money goes into the S&P 500. If you don't have a Roth IRA, I would definitely recommend looking into it. But for next year specifically, I just plan on contributing, the 580, I think it comes out to $583 a month. And if you do that every month, you end up maxing it out. You get the $7,000 in there. And if my income were to increase next year, which I'm hoping it will, it's looking like it probably will, which is a good thing. I'll continue to max it out, contribute that money every month. And then any extra money that I can invest, I'll probably just end up putting it in the brokerage account, also putting some money aside for vacations. I never really went on too many vacations when when I was younger. It just wasn't really part of what we did. It wasn't necessarily in the budget, which is totally fine. I have a big family, and that's totally okay. My parents gave me the world and then some, so I can't thank them enough for everything that they've gone ahead and done for me. But now that I'm older and I'm on my own and what I would consider financially stable, for someone in their mid-20s, I'm starting to take some time to travel a little bit. I'm going to be traveling with my girlfriend in the new year here. So yeah, I'm just, I'm enjoying myself, focusing on investing, prioritizing that, making sure that I'm paying my bills every month, maxing out the Roth IRA, contributing to the brokerage account when I can, and then setting some money aside as well for vacations, just to kind of treat myself a little bit. I feel like, all the work I've put in over the past 5 years, I feel like I should reward myself. You know what I mean? I never used to spend money on myself. I was always worried about not having enough money. But I just feel like I'm at a point now where I'm comfortable between my emergency fund and where my retirement is at, and even my brokerage account. Like, I'm not taking my foot off the gas. I'm just not like full throttle like I was in my early 20s, working 2-3 jobs, working nights, working weekends. I'm just, in my mid 20s, moving up towards going to be my 30s before I know it. So I just want to, enjoy myself while I can. So that's it, man. That's all I really got for you guys today. I wanted to talk about where I'm at with my Roth IRA. If you take anything away from this video, look into the Roth IRA, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's almost as beautiful as compound interest. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. If you're new here, I post every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And then on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern time, I post all kinds of content about like personal finance, life experiences, all that kind of stuff. And I just throw it over some gameplay for you guys, and I hope you can kind of relate to it, maybe learn something from it. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate you checking in as always, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.